From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor 500 help.
That's right. Taylor 500 Help. Taylor Heating and Cooling for all your heating and air conditioning needs. Tailor-made service that's customized to fit your needs. Air conditioning, heating, plumbing, home energy, maintenance plans, financing. If you have something that really needs fixed, the last thing that you want to do is worry about the financing. You don't have to worry about that with Taylor Heating and Cooling. Taylor has resources to help you. They'll make sure that you get that brand new furnace or that brand new air conditioning, and you don't have to worry about the family budget. Taylor 500 Help. It's personalized solutions and old-fashioned service. Taylor 500 Help. Precision Lawn and Garden, North Avenue and Webster. Precision Lawn and Garden has been servicing surrounding Rochester areas since 1969. They know a thing or two when it comes to snow plows and lawn mowers and chainsaws and all the things. You think they have one of those snowcats that Jeremy Renner was on that ran over his leg? I'm sure they do. I'm sure that Kimberly and Justin can make sure that you know how to run your snowcat if you purchase it from them right up there, North Avenue and Webster. They will take care of all your lawn and landscape needs. They've got mowers, blowers, chainsaws, snow blowers. Precision sells quality products from Aaron's, Ferris, Mantis, Cub Cadet, all your favorite brands. Just talk to Kimberly and Justin, and they will set you up. It's Precision Lawn and Garden. And Revere Realty, of course, your one-stop shop for buying and selling your home. We're not the biggest real estate agency in the Rochester and surrounding county area, but we're just the right size to make sure your home buying or selling is seamless, right? We want to make sure you're happy. We want to make sure that you're the best homeowner. So we want you to call us 585-467-1776. That's 585-467-1776. That's Revere Realty. Let us help you. You have control. We help you with the process. We've got appraisers. We've got financing. We've got lawyers. We've got real estate agents. We can take care of it all. We're your one-stop shop, Revere Realty. Make sure you support our advertisers. They support us here at Kimberly's Revolution and the We the People Podcast Network. We could not do this show and all the other shows that you see here on this network without our advertisers. We appreciate them. So thank you very much. Make sure you reach out to them if you need any of those things. And on with the show.
I think I know a thing or two. You know a thing or two? Maybe two.
Not really. Not really.
Live from the We the People broadcast studio in rainy, kind of crappy, but warm, 40-degree Irondequoit, New York. Hey, Kimberlina, who knew we'd make it to 2023?
Here we are.
It's amazing. Here she is, the host, Kimberly Ray.
Hey, you guys. Happy 2023.
Yeah,
it is Kimberly's Revolution. We made it. We've been doing this show.
I never thought I'd make it.
How long have we been doing this show now? 2.5 years?
Seems like forever.
Going on, honestly, going on 3 years. It's kind of crazy how this little idea started with Tom.
A little cray-cray.
The little idea that has sprung into an entire network of We the People podcast individuals that broadcast on this network. And we want to thank Tom. Happy New Year, Tom. How are you?
Happy New Year to you. I'm doing about the same. I never really changed.
Happy New Year to Austin, our producer.
Happy New Year, Austin.
Happy New Year.
And there he is. He never changes. He never changes.
He literally never changes.
He's always the same, which I love. So
he did get a new photo.
Yeah.
With the new hat that I bought him, of course.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure for New Year's, are we still on YouTube? I don't even know anymore.
I think we are now.
We are on
We're
YouTube.
back on.
Oh my goodness! Because
we
they
have a
dinged
special
us
guest today, Kimberlina.
We do.
We have Bowie's here today. Bobo.
Hi, Bobo.
Yeah, Bobo's here today.
You good boy. Is Bobo a good boy?
He's getting new heart medicine today, so Lori did not want him by himself. So I am dog sitting all day today.
Of course, Bobo is a good boy.
Yeah, he is a good boy.
That's nice. We have my daughter's 3 dogs here.
I heard.
2 pit bulls and a Rottie.
Got a full house over there.
It has been interesting that we've only had 1 poopy on the floor. and that was the first day, right? Because of nerves, I think. They'd been in the car for 12 hours. So, yes. So
Dogs
anyway,
do
we only
not like changes of scenery. That's
they
something that,
don't.
when it snows, then they're like, okay, the snow's here. And then the snow goes away and it's like, what happened to the snow? I don't know where to poo now.
Right.
And
So
then
they poo.
and then they poo, on the sidewalk or the driveway or wherever.
Right. Right. So here we are. It is a brand new year. We want to welcome all of our patriots to Kimberly's Revolution. Can I just ask one thing of all of our patriots? Just tell or share with one person that you know. Just do that for me this month. Make it like your resolution that you share our show or have someone sign up. It's free to follow us on YouTube. You just sign up to be a subscriber to our channel. We would be forever grateful for that. We hope that you will do that. Hey, there's Stryker and Sue. Happy 2023 to you guys. How was your Christmas? Good?
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. Same
Yeah,
as always.
Santa was good.
I spend a shit ton of money on stuff and, I get a couple things back.
Well, that's the way it goes at this
old.
point.
Right.
Yeah,
At some
that's the way
point
it
when
goes.
you get really old, don't you just, start getting a net gain to your Christmas?
Yeah.
But I'm a giver, so it's okay.
Yeah. Chris, yeah, I think we are back on YouTube. I think we're on YouTube. So that's a question for Austin. So Austin,
we are back on YouTube. Yes.
There you go. There's your answer. There is your answer. We are back on YouTube. So yeah, we are grateful to be here. My daughter and future son-in-law arrived here last Tuesday. We sold their house in Hamlin. And Tom, you asked me today, did it close? It did. Their house in Hamlin closed. They are here for the duration until their house closes down here in South Carolina, which closes on January 25th. So they're going to be with us. Yeah, the few weeks. So they're going to be with us waiting out until their house closes. But we finished with all the inspections. They're on well and septic for the house that they're buying, which was not something that I was crazy about. But whatever, they're big kids. They can do what they want. I just thought, taking on a first house with well and septic, it's biting off a lot to chew. But whatever. Septic came back. They needed a new pump for that. They needed a new well pump. The buyer.
How old's the house?
I'm not sure. I think 72.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. But the sellers have agreed to buy a new septic pump and a new well pump, and so we're all good for that. So Chloe starts her new job down here on the 16th or 17th. So we're moving forward. And Jake already has a job down here as a contract, as a foreman, a contract manager. So he's doing that, and we're all good.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like the family's moving forward down in South Carolina.
We are moving forward.
I hear you had a little hectic situation this morning. What happened?
What do you mean? Thunderstorms, power outage. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they have these giant trees and the roots aren't really, the water table is high in South Carolina. And a lot of these like big elm trees aren't like firmly rooted in the ground. And so every time there's a major thunderstorm, it's been raining since yesterday at about 4:00. And I don't mean a little rain. I mean like a torrential downpour.
Cats and dogs?
All night long, all this morning. And then the lights flickered once, and then they flickered again, and then the power just went out. But it came back on at noon, so we were all set. That's a thing that they have down here, that trees fall over all the time and create these power outages. At some point in time, you'd think they'd bury the lines, but I don't want to get down here to South Carolina and start telling them how to do their business.
Yeah.
So,
well, you can
you should bury those lines
in New York and make those funny looking trees around the power lines where they cut half the tree off. It's like, well, that's a nice looking tree. It's only half of it. And the big circle, the big,
I
U in the tree.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've noticed that. So anyway, trees seem to be a problem down here when it rains. They kind of fall over, and unfortunately, you see it every now and then. You would see this in Rochester, but they fall over and people hit them, or they fall over on the cars, and it happens like frequently. It's not like a one off. It happens a lot. So,
Do you have a lot of
so
drunken Irish trees down there?
but yes,
They just keep
just like
falling over.
I was drunk on New Year's Eve. Were you
You
drunk
were
on New Year's Eve?
drunk? I wasn't, no. I
Shocking.
had to drive. We went to Del
I-
Lago. I
Oh,
donated to education,
of
so
course you
that
did.
was fun. And
Yeah,
then we went to some concert, which was pretty good. And
yeah.
came home. Got home at 10:30 because we're old, so you have to get home on New Year's at 10:30.
They light up the town around here. There were fireworks stands when we were driving home. There were fireworks stands on every corner with lines, and I mean, starting at about 11:50, the fireworks started. Man, it was crazy. It was like our whole block was lit up. It's kind of nutty, but I don't want to make you feel bad, but I wanted to tell you some of the albums. You love music, right? So,
Yeah,
in
I
you
was
know,
okay. I was more of a 60s kind of guy. I like
okay, this is
the
gonna
old
make you
stuff,
feel old.
and then went
The
straight
al
to the 80s.
Yeah, right? The albums that turned 50 years old and the albums that turned 40 years old this year. Again, I don't know how this happened. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is
There you
50
go.
years old this year.
Well, that makes sense.
Band on the Run with Paul McCartney and Wings is
Yeah,
50 years old
I had the
this
8
year.
track.
You had the 8-track of Band on the Run?
Yeah, my dad for one Christmas bought like an 8-track player, and we had it in our living room, and we only had 2 8-tracks, and one of them was this
Band on the
things,
Run.
and the other
Yeah.
one was Bachman Turner Overdrive, Taking Care of Business. So that was the only 2 things we could listen to.
Little BTO.
Yeah, it was all right.
Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, which is always a favorite of mine,
Yeah,
is also turning 50. I know, I feel way old.
yeah.
But the albums turning 40, which might be you might relate to a little bit more. Pyromania by Def Leppard. That album is 40 years. I know, guys, 40 years old. War by U2 is 40 years old, and Synchronicity by The Police. I had all 3 of those albums,
Really?
not cassettes. I had the albums, and then turning 30, which really gets me right, 30 years old. This album by Nirvana, In Utero, is 30 years old. Now I know some of you really feel old now.
Yeah.
I wanted to pass that little snippet along to you. Not that I want you to
I know
feel
one of
old.
them that is not 40 years old. That would be
What?
Van Halen's 1984. That one would only be 39 years old.
Okay, so someone wants to know what town I'm in South Carolina. We moved here in June of
It's an
2023
undisclosed
from
secret location. You're not
an
allowed to ask.
undisclosed. That's right. It's an undisclosed
I've got
secret
like a little
location.
tickle in my throat. So you keep talking for 2 minutes and I'm going to go get some water.
Are you sure you're not getting some kind of alcoholic beverage? That he's got a tickle in his throat and he always has to have a little beverage. Hey, I don't know about you, but I did go out and buy my Mega Millions last night. I haven't checked them, but I don't think I'm a winner because the Mega Millions last night was up to what, $760 million. And today it is now 940 million for the jackpot for Friday night. I think they had a couple of winners in a couple of different states: Arizona, Mississippi, South Dakota, nothing close to South Carolina, and nothing in New York, according to the Mega Millions website. So the numbers, again, for Friday night, if you match all the numbers, $940 million.
What?
Yeah, for Mega Millions.
$1 billion.
So no one won last night. We purchased 5 tickets, which I think is $10. And I haven't checked them, but we're not a winner because South Kakalaki isn't in the list of states that some did, win. So I know you had something you wanted to talk about, and it involves what, taxes?
Oh,
Before
yeah. I was going to say
before we get to some of the other, wait, Do we,
Why
before we
don't we
get to
save it for
taxes?
more at the end because it's kind of a boring topic.
Well, it's not really a boring topic. I
Because
want to
everybody
talk
got their
about.
tax bills today or yesterday here in Monroe County.
I never. Are you there? You just disappeared.
I am.
Oh, okay. I never watch Monday Night Football. I
I
just
watch
don't.
every one.
I never watch Monday Night Football, but I was watching because whatever happened on Monday Night Football directly affected how the Chiefs fare going into the playoffs. Will we get a first round bye? Will we get home field advantage? And
Right.
the Bengals and the Bills were both playing on Monday night. And I was really like half paying attention. I wasn't really paying attention. I was kind of sitting on the couch. Rich was kind of paying attention. My mom was watching the game, and
You were already half a bottle of Pinot in by that time.
I don't drink during the week. I'm trying
Oh.
to be good. I'm trying to be better in 20. So my mom is, someone's asking, how is Lois? My mom is fine. She watched KU last night. She was watching Monday Night Football, and all of a sudden there was an injury, and Rich was in the kitchen, and he's like, what's going on? And I said, I don't know. A player's down. He goes, for which team? And I said, I don't know. I'm not paying it. I was on TikTok. I'm not paying any attention. And of course, it turned out, as we all know, if you're a Bills fan, if you're a football fan, you know what happened.
Right.
That of course, Damar Hamlin was taken off the field in an ambulance following a hit on a Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver, T. Higgins, in the first quarter of Monday night's game. The score going into that point, I think, was 7-3, and there he is,
3, correct.
24-year-old guy, critical condition at a, and I have to say this, hospitals in Cincinnati they're the best. They are. I lived and did radio in Cincinnati for 3 years, and I will say that they are the best of the best. I mean, he is in great care at a Cincinnati
Well, that's
hospital.
good to hear.
I mean, it really, he couldn't have been in a better spot. I mean, he would have been in a great place had it happened in Buffalo too. I wish this wouldn't have happened. When I'm watching on Twitter, I'm watching these people tweet that the guy is no longer living, and I'm thinking, how irresponsible is that?
Right.
A journalist, a sports journalist, and I can't remember the guy's name, and I'm sure he's deleted the tweet by now, had tweeted out that he never made it off the field. And of course, we know now that that is not true. But he had gone into cardiac arrest. And all I could think of was the situation that happened to a lacrosse player. It was the indoor TSC, right? You know where TSC is.
Yeah.
It's in Gates off of Elm Grove Road. And a kid was playing lacrosse, and a ball hit him right in the chest at the wrong time, at the moment that his heart was taking a beat and the ball hit him. I mean, it's such a rare event for that to happen. And it appears that that's what happened to Damar Hamlin, that when he hit the other player, the wide receiver went in for the hit. It just so happened that it was such a powerful hit at the exact moment where the heart was in flux. And
well, I guess that's the main question here, Kimberly, was that specific hit, which everybody that watches football would say that was fairly normal as far as a tackle. He got hit in the chest. And, whether this commotio cordis or whatever it's called, action, which apparently is very rare, actually happened. And they don't at this point know. I have a couple of TikToks that I had that are on this topic. I don't know if you could play the one from the doctor, Austin, first. No, actually play the one from the hockey player first. This happened 22 years ago to a St. Louis Blues hockey player, where, like, similar to the lacrosse ball,
where the puck went up and hit him.
Slap shot, 90-mile-an-hour slap shot by a rubber hockey puck, which caused the same issue. But the question here that I have is this hit that was legal, nothing illegal about it, that seemed like a normal tackle, was this enough of an impact to cause such an issue? And that's, not being a doctor, I don't know. Okay.
Works back to the point. Larionov up with it there. Larionov hands it across. Big drive. And that one blocked and into the equipment of Jeff Portnoy. And another penalty coming up.
Detroit's going to have a two-man advantage for 10 seconds.
Oh, my goodness.
The corner could be hurting here, guys. He took the slap shot into the chest. This isn't funny. There's a problem here. He took the slap shot into the chest. The trainer's out there quickly, and you can see with that slap shot into his ribs and chest, he's having.
So that was that. So then play the one from the cardiologist here too.
What we saw happen tonight is not related to any sort of vaccines. This is almost certainly something called commotio cordis, an extremely rare condition. That's one of those things that we typically only think we're going to read about in textbooks. Essentially, what can happen is if you have a blunt trauma to the chest that occurs at exactly the right time in the cardiac electrical cycle, your heart can be sent into cardiac arrest. As Hamlin comes in here, we can see this square hit to the front of his chest. We see him get back up momentarily before ultimately collapsing back down to the ground and requiring CPR on the field. This is a tracing of our heart's electrical activity. Basically, this is one cycle of the heart squeezing. It starts off with this P wave, which is the electrical activity of the atrium at the top of the heart squeezing, then the QRS complex, which is going to be the ventricles acting. But then the last phase is this T wave, where the ventricle basically depolarizes and kind of resets to get ready for the next cycle. For commotio cordis to happen, you have to suffer this blunt trauma to the chest at exactly the right moment, specifically on this upstroke of the T wave, in order for the heart to then be sent into this arrhythmia and subsequent cardiac arrest. This is one of those things that not only do you have to have a high enough force, but it has to happen within milliseconds of a time window, because if that impact comes at any other time in this cycle, you're fine. You don't go into this. But when it happens at
so I know they resuscitated him on the field before they brought him to the hospital. Then once they got him to the hospital, they had to resuscitate him once again. So they had to resuscitate him twice. And I think that, have we heard is he breathing on his own?
I guess he's been on a ventilator since and they rolled him over on his stomach so that whatever blood was in his lungs could try to escape. Right. But I guess he is at least somewhat breathing on his own.
And the question is at this point,
he's still
how long was his brain without oxygen? And we don't know. And I think the family released a statement today saying they were grateful for all the Bills fans, and they were grateful for all of the doctors, and they were grateful for Bengals fans that, and he had a GoFundMe because he had this, as a lot of players have, he had a
charity,
a charity that he was backing, and it was called the Chasing M's Foundation, which delivered toys to kids, underprivileged kids. And he had, before Christmas, I think the amount was $2,500, and now it's up over $6 million in donations through the Chasing M's organization GoFundMe page. So I think we have a little bit of what the donations go to and what he was doing beforehand. Can we see that?
What's up? It's Damar Hamlin, back at the hometown, back at the crib, third annual toy drive, man. We're doing it for the kids, having a good time, man. So let's get back to it.
Go Bills.
There he is with the kids, with the aw. So you wonder what these guys do when they're not playing football and in their off time. And this is Damar Hamlin. He's just not there. He's into it, right? He's having some fun with the kids. So all those bicycles, everything you see there, his foundation before he got hurt, and this is how great fans are. From 2,500, now over 6 million for his charity. It speaks volumes, I think, about what fans and individuals, feel, how they think of Damar Hamlin.
Well, it's a helpless situation, right? I mean, when you're watching it and you see a man, well, let's face it. I mean, for a few seconds, or he literally died, and they had to bring him back to life
twice.
And when you see something like that, it's traumatic. And we as fans, we can't, I guess we could go to Twitter and say what we want to say, but for the most part, we're helpless here. So
Yeah.
the one thing that we can do as fans is we can, show support to a specific cause.
Help, which I love. And I love the fact
good for the people that did that.
that Bill's Mafia was there to meet the plane on Monday night, knowing how those players were feeling. I mean, it gets me every single time I look at those guys on the field, and I'm like, and that's just crazy. And I at first I thought, and this is just me thinking, yeah, you got to play the game. People get hurt in the game. You got to play the game. But ultimately, I think they made the right decision. How in the world were those players going to come back and play like that? Their head wasn't in the game. It's not a safe situation. You can't have them play the game. But again, there have been other football players that have been critically injured during a football game. And I remember, I don't remember seeing it. I remember hearing about it, the Joe Theismann injury, which was
I saw that.
gruesome at best, right?
His ankle in half, yeah.
Gruesome at best. But
there was the Darryl Stingley incident that occurred in the early 80s for the Patriots. He was paralyzed. There's been a number of players that have been paralyzed over the years, but none have gotten. I guess there was something back in the 70s where something like this happened, but I haven't seen any video of it.
But the kid, I was talking to Rich. We were sitting there watching the game. I said, the kid's Chloe's age.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't. 24 years old.
He's a baby.
He is a baby. So I hope for the best for this kid. I hope I don't know that he'll ever play football again. I hope that he gets to the point where he can play again. I think that's, what we hope to, that he gets, maybe he won't ever play and maybe that's a decision, but we all want him to get healthy. So that's an option, right? We just want him to get to the point where everything's working and functioning and he's okay. And I just want to say this to every stupid ass anti-vaxxer on Twitter, shut up. Just shut up. What happened is not because he had the vax. I don't even know if he had the vax. Who knows if he had does anyone know if the kid was ever vaxxed?
He was. Yeah.
I don't know, but he didn't go into cardiac arrest because he was vaxxed. So enough of it. I honestly, that pisses me. And you know how I feel about COVID and masks and vaccinations, right? I'm the girl that went to the Bills game with the fake vax card, but
allegedly,
nonetheless,
right?
This wasn't caused by the freaking COVID vax. So shut up, all the people about what did he get vaxxed and that's why. It is not why. It's the hit. It's the hit to the chest at the wrong time. That's all. Right?
Okay.
Unless he had some kind of underlying. This is a thing too.
Well, maybe we'll find something out later. Who knows?
I mean, you can go through your entire life, and until that one moment where your body is so jarred, you don't know that you might have a heart issue. Right? People can go through their whole life and all of a sudden fall down at the age of 35, and something goes wacko with their body. The body is an amazing organism. Anything could happen. That includes Chad. It does include Chad. I don't know. Was he one of those guys that were tweeting? Did he say? I would argue with Chad on this.
Here, of course he was. Yeah.
Chad's wrong.
Chad's
wrong. Words. And it's a stupid thing to assume that this happened because of a vaccination. I'm not even going to entertain it.
We don't know that it didn't. We don't know that it did.
No, we do. It's fucking ridiculous.
We don't know anything.
It is. It's ridiculous. I'm not even going to have that conversation. But all we can hope.
Commotio cordis. That's what we're going with.
Yeah. Okay. All I can hope is that he recovers.
Yes.
To have a full, normal, healthy, joyful.
I lost a few bucks on my fantasy football team because I had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So I lost a few bucks on one of my teams. But
I got to tell you,
them's the break.
I was hoping. I'm just going to say it. I was hoping for a Bills loss because of the Chiefs.
It kind of looked like it was going to go that way. The Bengals were moving the ball.
They were.
Yeah.
That Joe Burrow. I don't even like Burrows. He looks like he's so weird in the face. He looks like a serial killer. You ever notice? There's nothing going on with the dude's face. I don't know. he's not like my Mahomie, and he's certainly not as a Josh. You know, those guys have personality. They have
it factor.
They do have the, you know, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes have that charisma.
Mm-hmm.
The Burrows kid, I don't know what's going on with him. He just reminds me of a stone cold killer. That's all.
Yeah, he could really throw a football.
Speaking of stone cold killers.
Where are we going? Yep.
All I can say is wow with this story out of Idaho. Right? And the story behind this Brian Koberger, who is 28 years old, who they arrested in Pennsylvania last week at his parents' house. The whole story is nuts. The fact that he was getting his PhD in forensics and criminology, that he had studied under a major professor of serial killers, the fact that he had stalked these people for weeks. One of the fathers of the girls, I think Kaylee, said there was a connection between this Brian Koberger and his daughter, and that connection has not been revealed yet. But Brian Koberger arrived at Pennsylvania. That is him. That's his after booking photo.
Look like maybe the fourth man or the Minutemen can help me out. Doesn't he look like the tall guy from the Animal House that was like the leader of the frat party?
You're talking about Tim. What's his name? Tim.
Doesn't he look like him? I don't know.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But he got his undergraduate. So he got his undergraduate in Pennsylvania at DeSalle University. And he had previously studied under a professor in Pennsylvania, known for her expertise on serial killers. And then he was getting his PhD at Washington State University at the time of the murders. And investigators in Moscow, Idaho, have yet to outline a motive, but we do know there was a connection. And you know how they got him? You know how they got him? They got him because some of his DNA was left in the house, and they connected that DNA through one of those ancestry genealogy.
Yeah. That damn DNA
situations. No, seriously.
Gets everybody in trouble.
It might not. Oh, what did I do? I don't know what I did.
You're still here.
I hit something. No, I hit a button. But he had, so his thesis for his master's was the psychology of criminals. So he had put out a year ago, prior to coming out to Washington State University, which was, I think, just 15 minutes from where these girls and the one boyfriend that were killed went to college. So a year ago, he put out this request that he wanted to, he was surveying people who had been arrested. He wanted to know what their feelings were leading up to the crime, what they were feeling during the crime, and what they felt after the crime. So that was what his thesis was going to be on. And so he put out this thing on Reddit asking for students or anyone that wanted to be a part of his paper and thesis and survey, if they would reach out to him and tell him the stories, and then he would ask them all these questions. That's what his whole research was on for his PhD.
So
crazy, right?
Tim Matheson. He doesn't look like Tim Matheson.
Not really. I don't think so. So he has not challenged. I mean, they're sending him right back to Idaho from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
He didn't challenge. He didn't challenge anything. So he has invoked his right to be silent going forward. He already has an attorney. So there he is being walked, I think, to the prison van. And so arrangements are, I think he left at 6 o'clock this morning to go back to Idaho. So they said he was a model prisoner, although there were some inmates that said that he was acting crazy. Oh, Tim Matheson. right?
That doesn't look like him?
I don't think so.
No, all right. I'll let it
Here's
go.
the crazy part, though. The murders happened on November 13th. So several weeks later, he gets into his white Elantra that I think was seen near the scene of the crime. And I think the gas station attendant that went over all of her footage was the one that came across this Elantra and turned it into authorities. And he got into the Elantra. His dad flew out to Idaho. They drove the white Elantra back to Pennsylvania, and he was stopped twice for following too close to cars. There's the second time that they were stopped by a state trooper. That's in Indiana, right outside of Indianapolis on I-70 is where he was stopped the second time. He had been stopped like 20 minutes before that.
Wow.
Who gets stopped for following too close?
So not only is he a murderer, allegedly, but he's a terrible driver too.
He's a terrible driver. But according to Kaylee Goncalves' dad, there's some kind of a connection between Brian, that guy, and her. But they're not saying what. But here's the other thing. So they're going through his cell phone, and they find that for the prior 3 weeks leading up to November 13th with the stabbing deaths of these guys, that he had been in the vicinity like more times than they could count, where the cell phone towers, where he was in the same vicinity as where the girls were. That he had stalked them, that he had followed them, that he had kind of trailed them to maybe possibly figure out what their routines were.
Crazy.
And that's how crazy that is.
Yeah.
And my cat just jumped up on my counter.
I don't know where Bo went. I think we lost him. Bowie. He's over here.
Who?
Who? We lost Bo. Where did he go?
Oh, you lost the dog?
Oh, yes. He's sleeping under my feet.
They say he has a calm demeanor. Well, most psychos do. Most psychos have a pretty calm demeanor. But I would say he gets an F on his PhD, right? I mean, if your PhD is to get behind the psychology of how to commit the perfect crime and you don't commit the perfect crime, I think you fail.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So
he'll get it in prison, and then he'll come out and he'll be a political prisoner, and he'll advocate for things and get a speaking engagement at Brockport. So
yeah, right.
Well, that'll happen in 40 years.
So he graduated with a bachelor's degree in 2020 and completed his Master of Arts in Criminal Justice at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. And then, he wanted to hear from all those people that had committed a crime so he could do his thesis. And it was a study that he was doing. And so now, here you go. If it happened, and I did hear that he asked the officers, or at least one of the SWAT team members that raided his house at 3 a.m. last week to arrest him, have you arrested anyone else? And my question is, did he ask that question just to throw them off? Did he ask that question because he's psycho? Did he ask that question because he had help? I mean, this guy killed 4 people with a knife. That's messy. Yeah.
That's going to leave some DNA.
And it did, because that's how he traced him. But I can see the defense attorney, and she's not a dummy. I think she has won several high-profile cases in Idaho. The problem with this is the house that those girls lived in, and the boyfriend that was there that night of one of the girls, who I think lived across the street at the Sigma Chi house, it was a party house. It was known as the party house. So I think they're probably going to go with, well, he'd been at a party there before. But 28 years old is a little bit old to be hanging around 21-year-olds, isn't it?
We know where Tim Matheson's was at that point.
Stop it with the Tim Matheson. You were driving me crazy. But I find this fascinating. Did this guy want to commit the perfect crime? Did he, is he so messed up that he thought he could hear the stories from the people for his study, for his thesis, that he thought, he kind of wanted to live the moment through them, and then that wasn't enough for him. He wanted to actually commit the crime. But stabbing 4 individuals, knowing that there's going to be, I mean, you can get stabbed and still fight. And apparently, fingernails, you scratch people. I mean, I don't know. Some of those girls had defensive wounds that were pretty awful, I hear.
Well, in 10 years, we'll be able to watch the Lifetime movie and see what, how it all played out.
I watch too much crime TV. Serial killers on Oxygen. I watch too much of that.
That's your thing, serial killers.
I know. But I mean, you're going to get caught, right? Now I was just talking to someone else. There's video cameras. There's DNA that they can, and these genealogy things, I've always said, stay away from those. You don't need, where you're from. And even if you don't
know how many kids you fathered.
I mean, honestly, do you really need to know that you're a quarter European? Look in the mirror.
I don't even think European is a race, is it?
I don't even know. You have quarter European. You have a quarter. I don't even know.
Italian or French? European.
I think that actually European is a.
I'm 100% North American, Kimberly.
A slice of the pie on that. I don't know. Maybe he thought he would get away with the crime. I just don't know how you stab 4 people and think you're going to get away from. It's messy. It's too personal. You're too close to him.
Maybe he's a motive actor, and he had to get involved in his thesis.
What's the motive? I mean, I don't know. And plus the fact that if you take your phone with you, your phone's going to ping at that location. I mean, I can pick up my phone and see exactly what street Chloe is on right now. She's going on a cruise and living her best life with her friend Britt, who is also a police officer in Rochester. And they're going on a cruise, and she went to find bathing suits in the middle of January. I'm like, good luck with that. So I'm like seeing, where she is. I can see where she is, what street she's on.
Does she know that? Being a person of her age, it may be a little, I don't know if it's illegal, but I mean, she's of age.
I know, but I'm just like looking to see where she is. Oh, where is she? So Jeremy Renner, I am a big fan of the Mayor of Kingston. Did you watch the Mayor of Kingstown?
No, but I've seen all the Avenger movies.
Is that where he's Hawkeye?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There's Jeremy Renner.
Plus he has a special or a mini series on what's that shit? Hawkeye is on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus,
yeah. A very good mini series.
Yeah, so he's in all those Marvel Universe movies.
Right.
I'm a big fan on the Paramount Network if you get a chance, and I think you'll like this show. It's from the same producer as the guy who put on all the Yellowstone, the Yellowstone series and the 1883 series and now 1923. Same guy, Taylor Sheridan, is behind the Mayor of Kingstown, and Jeremy Renner plays the kind of good guy, bad guy dude. I love him. And when he's being really bad, I really love Jeremy Renner. So he had a bad day with his snowcat. And he lives in the Tahoe region. And I guess they got a crap ton of snow. Mm-hmm. And he was trying to help out someone whose car got stuck in the snow. And he was on his snowcat. And he lost control of it, and he fell off of it, and it ran over him. Yeah, that's a bad day.
The way I heard it was he was plowing out to get a stranded car out because he has a private road for him and his neighbors. And I guess he was out of it, and then the cat started to move. So he tried to get back into it to get control of it, and ran him over he was trying to climb back in it.
And he severe injuries to his leg. So I guess one of the other residents that lives on this private road, and I think there were like 13 cars stranded on that little private road in this Tahoe region of where
do that.
So he happens to have a neighbor. The neighbor's a doctor, runs out, he sees that Jeremy Renner is bleeding out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And applies a tourniquet, basically saves his life. Had that not happened, Jeremy Renner would be dead today. Had the doctor not run out to put the tourniquet on his leg. He looks beat up, doesn't he?
Well, hopefully he gets better. going to be interesting to see how they write all these storylines in now, right?
Yeah. So his neighbors ran out. So the doctor applied the tourniquet and the towels. One neighbor called 911. But yeah, I mean, those snowcats are dangerous. I guess it didn't. Don't they have like one of those, off things that
kill switch? I have no idea.
Yeah. That's a big snowplow, though.
Yeah.
She got a snowcat. I love the mayor of Kingston.
Service announcement: do not stick your hand in your snowblower at any point.
That's what we thought he did.
Right.
We thought he put his, because how many people do that? How many people put their hand into the snowblower?
Right. You don't stick your hand in your snowblower, people.
Do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Carol says, I have gone down the rabbit hole with Idaho. I'm with you. I was just, when I found out that he had stalked those people for weeks, that was crazy.
Right. Is that Paramount Plus? Is that a paid subscription? Is that only for rich people, or is that pretty much anybody can watch that?
I think it's like $6 a month.
What?
But worth it.
With the Netflixes and the Disney Pluses,
I know.
The Blues,
I know.
And the Primes.
I know.
What else is there? There's just the regular cable. What are these? What do they think we're all made of money here? I mean,
I feel you. Yeah. Hey, don't forget to support our sponsors, Taylor's Heating and Cooling, Taylor 500 Help, Precision Lawn and Garden, and also Revere Realty. If you need to buy or sell a home, call us. We are here to help. 467-1776. That's phone number.
That's
Precision
me.
Lawn and Garden. That's you.
Yeah, I'll answer the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You want to see what a pathological liar looks like?
Huh?
Do you want to see what a pathological liar looks like? I always say, don't lie, because it's so hard to remember the lies you tell. It's easier to tell the truth.
Good advice. That's another good public service announcement. You'll never remember all your lies.
You won't.
No.
You won't. And one of these days, you're going to get tripped up on them. Like
Just one of these days.
Like this Long Island Republican.
Oh my God.
Who was elected. He's a state senator, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was elected state senator. And here he is. He has a problem telling the truth. He is truth challenged. Nothing
makes him popular. He just tells people what they want to hear.
Hillary. Someone's saying Hillary. Yes, Barbara. Hillary. And let me just say, all politicians lie 100%.
Everyone.
Don't they?
Except
why are we shocked? We're shocked because this guy has told some whoppers. I mean, not just like little white lies, like, no, your butt doesn't look big in those jeans, honey.
Is that the one you normally hear?
Right. He has told lies about his criminal past. He has told lies about where he went to college. He has told lies about companies that he worked for. He has told lies about his supposed Jewish background. He has told lies about how his mother died. I mean, the list goes on for this George Santos guy. He's got to go. You can't, honestly, if you asked him, hey, George, does the sun come up in the east? He'd say, no. Trust me, the sun comes up in the west. This guy can't. He doesn't know the truth. Honestly, this guy's a psycho. This guy is a pathological psycho. You cannot, Republicans in the state of New York have to get this guy out of office. He's got to go.
You can't handle the truth.
He told police after he stole a checkbook that belonged, his mother was a home health nurse, and she was working for this man in Brazil, and he stole the man's checkbook out of his mother's purse and used it to buy $1,300 worth of merchandise. And when he was arrested, he told police he didn't do it, that he was an American with dual citizenship, and that he was a professor. Was not a professor. And then he made his way out of the country. And then he lied about attending New York University and Baruch College. Then he said he worked for Goldman Sachs and Citigroup. He said that his grandparents escaped the Holocaust. Not true. That he was Jewish. Not true. that his mother died in 9/11 terror attacks at the World Trade Center. Not true. His mother died in 2016. That he founded a charity for rescued dogs and cats, and that he owned a number of rental properties, all one big, gigantic lie.
I'll tell you what, Kimberlina, it's working for him though, right?
Guy's got to go. He cannot continue to be in office at this point, right? George Santos, the, what, senator-elect George, or what is it, congressman? I don't know what he is. Republican, got to go. Long Island.
What's going on in the real Congress of the United States there, where the Republicans can't figure out who's going to be the leader for the House of Representatives?
I know, right?
Kevin McCarthy can't get enough votes.
Can't get the votes.
He's not popular.
Cannot get the votes.
This guy could get those votes. He'd lie his ass off and everybody would vote for him.
Look at the guy. What is going on? I mean, honestly, they got to run him out of Long Island on a rail. The guy cannot continue to hold office. He can't. He lied about his grandparents escaping the Holocaust. That's the worst. Yeah, okay. You lied about
across the line.
Okay, you lied about working for Citigroup. Okay, whatever. You lied about your mom dying in the World Trade Center attacks.
That's pretty bad. He's got a nice resume though, Kimberlina.
Because none of it's true.
It doesn't mean it's not a good resume.
So it's a whole big, and you wonder about these kind of people, right? That they would lie. You could not trust this guy to ever tell the truth.
Speaking of lying, I don't know. Are you done? You got everything? You're done here?
I'm done.
What else you got?
I got nothing. I've got a couple of things, but they can wait till next week. I know you got taxes.
No, go ahead. We got all day. Go ahead.
There's a new COVID variant.
There is?
But you knew this, right?
How many letters do we got? Are we at the end of the alphabet yet?
We've got XBB.15.
Wow.
XBB.15. That is causing the most.
My next grandchild, that's going to be their name.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what we told you 2 years ago. There's always going to be a variant because the virus will find a different way to be successful. That's what viruses do. We've said this from the beginning, that there's going to be more than just your regular COVID.
Yeah.
That there were going to be multiple, never ending. It's a never ending COVID.
And eventually it'll just be mixed in with the flu and you'll just keep getting it every year.
You'll just be fine until you're not fine. And then it's time for the dirt nap. The end. The end.
I'm almost ready for that now. I never thought, just think about when we were in high school. Okay. What year did you start high school? 1979?
80.
1880? I think I started in
1880. Yes, 1880.
You started in 1880? Just
19.
think, in 1980, when you're a freshman in high school sitting in the library, could you ever envision being alive in 2023?
Okay, first off, I would never sit in the library. Are you kidding me? I had a reputation to uphold.
I mean, do you remember though? It seemed like the year 2000 was like a million years away. You're like, oh my God,
library.
20 years.
I can't believe that you'd even think I'd go to a library.
I'm going to live forever. I'm already planning on it.
Planning on it.
Yeah. So
library. You want me to go to a library at 15? Go ahead.
Speaking of liars, I don't know how many people got their tax bills in the mail yesterday. Everybody in Monroe County did. Congratulations.
You want to know what my tax bill is?
You have till February 10th to pay them. So congratulations on that.
Hey, what's your tax bill?
My county taxes were about $3,000. And I have a modest house in Chilai. So
yeah, mine were nowhere close to that.
Nowhere close to $3,000?
No.
You live in a mansion on a long driveway with a huge setback. You need a snowcat. Your house is so big.
It was 70 yesterday.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
It's 65 right now.
So anyways, speaking of going way back in the past, Jack Doyle, Maggie Brooks, who are all the county executives that have been for Monroe County?
Yes.
They've all stood up there. Every one of them in the State of the Union address have said, we are not raising your taxes in Monroe County.
That's a lie.
The tax rate is the same as it's always been. And then Cheryl Donalfo actually decided to take, like a quarter off of it, 25 cents, and she got whacked. And Adam Bello is now, our county executive. So anyways, I was reading this article, how they stayed within the spending of Monroe County, that they were 2% under the inflation for the year, and that your tax rate is going to go down 90 cents per thousand, which is historical. It's never happened. The tax rate never goes down. It's historical, the fact that the tax rate went down. However, the budget, because everybody's assessed values over the last 5 years have doubled, because the assessors, every year you get that letter in the mail telling you that your taxes are going to again go up. Well, wait a minute. We don't know if they're going to go up. We're going to raise your assessment, but that doesn't necessarily mean your taxes are going up. But this is why your taxes are always going to go up, is because they keep raising your assessment and they don't substantially lower the tax rate. And even with them lowering the tax rate by 90 cents, they still increase the budget for Monroe County by $63 million. There's no tax break. There's no tax credit. Congratulations, Monroe County. You now have a budget of $1.34 billion. And we keep getting higher assessments, and the tax rate should be half of what it is. And
so let me ask you,
lowered it significantly enough to really cause an issue. So congratulations. Just keep paying your taxes.
You don't have to pay those taxes in the state of New York.
Well,
you don't have to pay those taxes.
Chad Hummel can, if you feel that your assessment is out of line, of course, Chad Hummel and the tax opposer can work with you to get them lowered if you have legitimate proof of that.
I mean, I know when we left Greece,
for the most part, we're all just plain screwed, Kimberly.
Right. When we left Greece, on that house that we lived in Greece, right off of Mill Road, our taxes with property taxes and school taxes were right at like $12,100.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And you get down south, whether you go to Florida or South Carolina or wherever, even North Carolina, which North Carolina property taxes are a little bit more expensive than South Carolina, but not by much. I mean, you look at the difference in numbers and you're like, you don't understand it. You don't understand where the money in New York is going. And then you stop and think, all the money is going to help people that aren't work for services that you'll never be able to afford, or you'll never be able to utilize because you make too much money, right?
Right.
You're never going to see.
They call those mandated charges.
You're never going to see any of those services.
Of the $1.35 billion budget of Monroe County, almost over $1 billion of that is supposedly mandated services.
Yeah, of which you will never.
They can't do anything with those. We can't cut those.
Right, right. You will never be able to utilize those because you don't fall into the demographic that will utilize those, right? You make too much money. Even if you're on Social Security, you're going to still make too much money to ever utilize those services. They are not for you. They're for people that don't work for a living, right?
Right.
And then you get frustrated by that. You just and it's craziness.
So as these property values increase 10-15% per year, and next year, in the next couple of weeks, you're going to get another letter in the mail from your municipality increasing your tax assessment. Just remember, they don't lower the tax rate enough to adjust for it. They always make money off of it.
Well, aren't you the bearer of good news?
Well, I'm just, it's like,
are people freaking out already? Are they calling?
No, but yeah, we did have a few calls. But why can't they adjust it properly? Why do they have to spin it to the point where they look like that they're giving you a deal? And when they're
pathological liars, they're politicians. Didn't we just go over this? Did you not get?
Yeah.
Did you not get that last? Okay. All right, that is going to do it for Kimberly's Revolution for today. We want to thank all of our patriots for
Kimberly,
tuning
I'm
in.
going to throw crap at you.
Thank you. Make
God
sure
bless.
you support our fund. Make sure you support our advertisers, Taylor Heating and Cooling. That's Taylor 500 Help, Precision Lawn and Garden, and of course us here at Revere Realty. We will help you buy or sell a home. So give us a call. Of course, thanks to Austin, who always makes this program run smoothly. But thanks for the Patriots for watching us every single week, and just Tom, of course, for 3 years ago almost having the brilliant idea to start this show. We appreciate just
Yeah,
Tom.
we've made a lot of money doing this, haven't we?
Well, it wasn't about the money, right?
No, it isn't. God
All
bless.
right, that's going to do it. See ya.
See you next year. Have a good day.